Welcome back to The Charismatic Voice. Today we're going to be revisiting artist Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse and taking a look at his new single, I'm Not a Vampire, Revamped. So you may remember Ronnie from last September when I covered his video, The Drug in Me is Reimagined, which was based on a song that he wrote about 10 years earlier, The Drug in Me is You, and then they essentially rearranged it to be a little slower, a little more subdued, not as in your face, but really tormented and beautiful. And I loved that. So I understand that they've done a similar thing and taken I'm Not a Vampire, which was released, I think, in 2011. And now they're doing I'm Not a Vampire Revamped. I'm really excited to hear this, Kay. Also, I did do a little bit of research on the song. I understand that Ronnie wrote the lyrics and melody while he was in prison, and it's primarily about drug addiction. Now, the original video, which I just watched again, it was more of like a comedy, more of a spoof, like a rehab spoof for celebrities, essentially. So I'm really curious how they're going to take this and turn it around to be more serious again. And also, just so you know, Ronnie, I did watch your reaction to my reaction last time, and I subbed to your Twitch as a result. And because I noticed how much you enjoyed pizza during that reaction last time, I decided to bring my own combo pizza. So thank you for the idea. Let's get to it. Okay, before we even really get into the meat of the song, it sounded like they had this sort of gothic choir intro. I really dig the setup here. It feels like a little Count Dracula and definitely gothic choir there. You can even tell from the reverb that they've put them in a cathedral-like setting. And you can tell also it doesn't have a lot of vibrato, so not operatic choir, but a lot darker vowels to bring it that darker atmosphere to it. Okay, a couple more things about what's happening in his voice here. I really love the way he'll flip into essentially like a full belting sound and then lighten it up. So he's essentially going using more of a mixed voice, and then sometimes will lighten it up into his head voice. And he actually doesn't just depend on range for that choice. A lot of people will make that choice because the note gets high and it's just easier to sing it more in head voice. He will choose to lighten up the tone quality depending on the words or expression he wants in different places in the voice. So right here at one point he did it in a lower range of his voice, which is really impressive to me. That says he just has amazing control. I think that the girl here is his girlfriend, Paige, I believe. She's gorgeous, first of all, super gorgeous. It's really interesting to see that he's cast her in this video with him, especially because he makes references. I think he can get it into any bed with a glance or something. I thought, oh, this is a good one to cast your girlfriend in. Also, the last line about whiskey, I think so many people can relate to. Really great lyrics. I already love the lyrics. I have the lyrics pulled up, by the way, on a second page, so I am looking and referring to them in case we want to do some analysis there. All right, let's go back and see if we can catch that moment when he went into different ranges or into different registers in his voice, but not depending on the range. That was really good.
Well, I'm not a vampire, but
So he lines up the sound as he goes down in his voice there. It would be really easy just to make it more full. So he actually added a little more airiness and lightness to the tone quality as he went down to sun, and then went up to like in that same tone. Hands are always shaking, body's always aching, and the dark is when I feel. So dark is right there. Oh man, we're going really deep right away. Dark is, it's cool because he's gone into that lighter sound, but then he really belts the top end of it. So that's a great example of where he's not depending on range and ability for a vocal register to determine the color that he wants. He's saying, no, I'm going to belt this top part, and right below it, I'm going to have some head voice there. It's cool. I had a feeling that they would drop in a bunch of sound right after that. A really, really cool arrangement, first of all. I'm loving it. He said at one point, I've lost all self-control, and I'm thinking to myself, but you haven't lost any vocal control. It's great. He's just gained vocal control throughout his career. It's fantastic. I love the way that it pulled back to just piano, and I think there was some strings in the background there. Again, very similar to, I think it was mostly cello and piano, and for a large part of The Drug in Me is Reimagined. So we've got a very similar thing going on here. We even have a similar vampire thing. I think there were teeth in The Drug in Me is Reimagined. I wonder if there's a through line between these actually. I didn't check. This might be the same director. I'm very, very curious. Definitely something to discuss in the live chat or in the comments below. Let's talk about the through lines between these videos, because I'm guessing that there are quite a few that I won't catch in a first time of listening. For now, let's go back a little bit and catch his transition. It's amazing. So they've done a good job essentially of reeling us in with this tender sound so that once there's this big drop, it's much more effective. If home is where my heart is, then my heart has lost all. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to talk about this little addition. He adds a little bit of fry to the sound here, a little fry scream. I like that a lot. It's something that I was very impressed with in hearing him before as well. He's able to add fry scream that is just so tormented. I love it, but he's been doing it forever and he's not lost any vocal capability. So that tells me he's doing it in a really healthy way. If home is where my heart is, then my heart has lost all. I love this little stylization that he does. He does like a little cry off of it. Cries really need to happen off of something that's truly full voice. It's harder to do in just like a lighter head voice or falsetto. But he does a cry essentially off of this note right here. Listen for it because it's something that I feel is very staple in Ronnie's stylization. And I love the way he does it because it makes me feel it. It doesn't feel like it's a little sprinkle on top. Just for a fun, cool technique. It's more that it feels like it's driven from heart and emotion. So right when he goes off of one, when he goes to the N, it essentially does like a little tiny break, which would be called sometimes.
I'm not a zombie, but I feel like one. Today, self-induced, comatose, chemical days. My head is always spinning from.
Oh, what was that bass moment? That was good.
Self-induced, comatose, chemical days. My head is always.
Okay, so he's not flipping to falsetto there. He's still, I think, in a head voice, even mixing a little bit. That's impressive.
Chemical days. My head is always.
And he even slides back down a little bit into it.
Chemical days. My head is always spinning from this disciplinary vision, and my stomach is heading now. I feel like a lady that is pregnant with a baby, 'cause I'm always throwing up. And hi, my name is Ronnie. I'm an addict. And Daddy should have never raised me on Black Sabbath.
Oh, wait. Daddy never should. I didn't catch this when I was going through the lyrics, but Daddy never should have raised me on Black Sabbath. This is amazing because I just was introduced to Black Sabbath. And, it was specifically Dio that I was introduced to, FYI. So Ronnie James Dio. And he's amazing. And I can totally see where Ronnie might have been influenced by Dio's vocals. Maybe he's influenced by Ozzy's too. Maybe it's both. But anyhow, that's a really cool catch in there. I wanted to briefly talk about this moment where he layers his voice. Let's go back to it.
Name
let's
is
see.
Ronnie. Always throwing
There?
up. And hi, my name is Ronnie. I'm an addict.
I think it's so interesting. He's definitely doing a double octave layer in there and has some harmonies as well. A very interesting choice to put this in. We haven't heard him really layering much in anywhere else up until this point. We just heard the choir, but I don't think that involved Ronnie's voice. Here, having many layers of his own voice saying, "Hi, my name is Ronnie," is very interesting. An interesting choice. It's like he's trying to show you the different versions of himself that really comprise all of him. And maybe because the addict is one of his parts of personality that he's bringing into it as well. I love that choice of music production to express that moment. Just super duper love it.
And Daddy should have never raised me on Black Sabbath. I can feel it in my bones, coursing through my veins. When did I become so cold? For goodness sakes, where is my self-control? If home is where my heart is, then my heart has lost all. When will you mortals believe?
Wow. Wow. This build-up is amazing. The way that they were having more spaced apart, larger beats gave it a feeling of greater expansion. Of course, you've got the choir that's a little bit in the background there as well. But I'm really being drawn into the story at this point of what's happening in the music video. Of course, with Paige, we see multiple versions of her. And I think that maybe the version of her in the white dress is more of a ghost, and the one that's in color was a past thing that happened. I'm not sure. Definitely going to keep watching it, but it's intriguing. Super.
When will you mortals believe? I just want the world to bleed. Lost at the sight of your blood. I swear to God, I can love.
Oh, I got major shivers there. Wow. Wow. I love this bit of fry scream that's added as an extra dimension to his voice. Again, he layered it a little bit there, not as much as the "My name is Ronnie" part, but he added it for some additional texture. Super cool, very, very cool. And of course, you have the strings just going nuts here, which make it feel like it's reaching a very strong climax at this point. Love that they actually are showing the Gothic choir. Hey, kudos to all those singers. That's awesome. Wow, this part is my favorite so far. Let's go back.
I just want the world to believe.
That's so good.
Sign of your blood. I swear to God, I hear no thought.
So that moment between them, I wonder if she didn't know he was a vampire before or something like that. That was an interesting moment of discovery. Obviously, I think I've been paying attention to the voice so much that I've missed maybe a little bit of the story of what's happening here, but very intense visualization.
So God bless all of you.
Actually, sounds like a diminished chord. They had a major moment and then a diminished chord. A lot of tension is built up right here before it can resolve. That's part of what makes it feel so climactic, is the harmony and this arpeggiation that the strings are going down.
So God bless all of you now. 'Cause I'm going straight to hell. And I'm taking you down with me. Because you know damn well.
Interesting to hear on "Well." It sounds like he brought it forward to a little more of a snarl that was even for right in this area. So he changed the placement of it. It's been really impressive to me so far to hear how he's able to sustain this full sound. He can belt for a really long time, enter fry, and come back out of it. And he doesn't seem like he gets vocally tired from that at all.
So I sharpen my teeth, 'cause I love the way it feels when I sink into your skin and draw the only thing that's real. You don't believe me. Should I write it in blood? You better try that fucking stake right down my heart and try and run, motherfucker. I'm a vampire.
Okay, we're gonna have to go back and catch this section a little bit more too. This is so much intense vocalization at this point. It's just insane to me. Really, very, very touching moment when he discovered her in the bathtub, and I know he has some personal history with that. I can't imagine how that must have felt to film that and even put that here. So love that. It seems like she probably did that in response to seeing these things. And then I like that he's able to transform her into a vampire. It's like, yes, okay. If only all such tragedies could end thus. So let's go back a little bit to where he starts more screaming. His screaming is...
blood. You better try that fucking stake right down my heart and try and run, motherfucker. I'm a vampire. I'm sad. I can feel it in my blood. Coursing through my veins. I become so cold.
It is amazing, the endurance he has. I said that before, and it's just so much more now. This is mind-blowing, crazy to me. Every time I hear him in a fry scream, I think, yeah, that's it. Like, that's the greatest moment for that fry scream. No, it just keeps getting better and better and better. It's really astonishing to me. And it's, man, I feel like I'm really curious about the production. Like, what, if I could, I'd like to see his throat. Man, I'd love to just actually take a camera and look at his throat when he's doing this. Wondering, like, in order to do any kind of extreme vocalization, you have to have tension in some spots, but you need to have a lot of relaxation in others so that you don't hurt yourself, essentially. So I'm kind of curious where he feels that, and curious about, where he's engaging the most, but how does he choose to let the other things relax, or is it just something that comes natural to him? But I'd be very curious to ask about that. Ronnie, if you're listening to this, please give a detailed analysis of yourself. I would love that so much, and I will be watching it. And I also am really touched again by, it seems that he, in order to let her complete the transformation into vampire-ness, I hope, it seems that he's self-sacrificing here, which, having heard and understood Ronnie a little bit just from his Twitch channel, which you guys could probably go subscribe there. He's a pretty awesome person. I feel that he has got some really, really great morals that he holds to. And definitely this sort of sacrificing for somebody that's loved, that seems something very akin to him. In fact, this ding, ding, ding rings a bell. I believe I'd written a note to myself. This video was originally dedicated to Derek Jones, I believe. The Jones was one of the only original members in the band that was still there, and he died in 2020. And I believe that this video is actually dedicated to him. So everybody out there, just remember, keep those you love near, be good to them, be wonderful to them. Okay, let's go back to this very serious moment in the song where it looks like Ronnie Vampire. Oh. I was not expecting her to burst into flames as well. Let's check out this very last moment. It's funny. He has what some of us call a baritone claw. This is associated sometimes with baritones in opera. And Ronnie, when he goes back into this lower range, he sounds a little operatic, actually. He has a nice, a rounder tone right now. And he sounds like he's got some vibrato there as well. So baritones sometimes have the baritone claw in opera, I think, is a way to, sustain some support. I'm actually really not sure why it's there. It just creeps up a lot. So, including Ronnie. Oh, beautiful coloring. So good. There we go. Memory of Derek Jones. It was so good, I forgot to eat my pizza. That's how good it was. Apparently, I cannot eat pizzas and listen intensely to voice at the same time. It's just, I can't do it. Kudos to you, Ronnie, though, for being able to. I really loved this reimagined version of I'm a Vampire, revamped. I should say revamped version instead of reimagined. I think it was able to successfully one up and one up and one up. Just at the moment where I thought that's going to be the best vocal moment, it went to a new height. So that is very impressive to me, especially considering the amount of vocal toll that can take on a person. but it didn't sound like it was taking that on Ronnie's voice. It was great to hear at the end when he came back down into a lower register. It didn't sound like his larynx had risen a lot or something like that. It didn't fray there. He was able to have just a really clean low sound, which is a good indication of a good vocal technique. And so I liked that a lot. Loved the imagery of this. The story is, it's haunting. I also really liked fantasy, so anything vampire is pretty exciting. And if it has swords or shard blades in it, that's exciting too. So really awesome performance overall. Great video shooting. Love this direction, and I hope that he releases many more songs like this. If there are additional ones, you can be sure that they will show up on this channel. So everybody, please continue to make your recommendations down below in the comments. I do read those and we tally them up, and the most requested are done on this channel as well. And I hope that you'll come and join me sometime here on YouTube for a live premiere on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Arizona time. Or you can also find me on Patreon or at thecharismaticvoice.com. See you somewhere soon.